Preparing for the flu season.
This video was created to bring more awareness to common everyday remedies that will help reduce the risks of catching the flu and to answer questions about a pandemic influenza outbreak and what to do if one should occur.
Pandemic influenza is different from what we generally call influenza. Pandemic is different in that it's a new virus that starts infecting people.
The most important thing you can do is number 1, get your flu shot. Number 2, get enough sleep each night. And number 3, always choose healthy foods to eat. People who should get vaccinated each year are children aged 6 months and up to their 19th birthday, pregnant women, people 50 years of age or older, people of any age with certain chronic medical conditions, people who live in nursing homes and other long-term care facilities, and people who live with or care for those at high risk for complications from the flu. Simple acts of covering your mouth by either coughing into your bent arm or using a tissue and then discarding the tissue in the garbage is recommended. It is also a good idea to wash your hands regularly, especially after you cough or sneeze. If you are not near water, use an alcohol-based hand cleaner. Try not to touch your eyes, nose, or mouth. Germs often spread this way. Doorknobs, faucets, handrails, escalators, and computer keyboards are perfect places for germs and sickness to transfer from one person to another. If you work at a computer, you should regularly wipe down the keyboard. Wiping down door handles and keeping sinks clean is also a good precaution. At the workplace, you should use a disinfectant when cleaning. Alcohol-based hand sanitizers are also a good idea to disperse throughout your workplace and avoid social gatherings. This way, you will prevent others from getting sick. Illness rates are 40% higher among school children and 20% higher among working adults. The greatest risk of transmission is during the first 2 days of illness. On an average, infected persons will transmit infection to approximately 2 other people. If you are not feeling well, then it is best to remain at home until your sickness has passed. Most employers would agree that they would rather have you stay at home than to bring the sickness into the workplace and infect coworkers or customers.
Pandemic, because it can kill large numbers of people quite rapidly, it can really impact a small community, for example, if a community gets infection going on in it. And it can rapidly spread, rapidly transmit.
A pandemic threat means that every corner of the globe and every element of society will be touched.
Oh, it certainly can affect millions. In the early 1900s, the largest pandemic happened and millions of people died as a result of that. I think our response has gotten better over time to dealing with the pandemic.
This widespread effect has ramifications not only for the health and well-being of populations, but also for the national and economic security of the nations. A pandemic influenza can make its way across the country within 2 months.
Generally, it's thought that new pandemics come from animal viruses that first of all infect animals and then they become mutated to start infecting humans.
Communication will be critical to saving lives and preventing disastrous impacts.
For those people that are infected, usually during a pandemic, the mortality rate's 50%. So half the people literally die if they get infected. So it's very deadly once you get exposed to it.
In advance of any pandemic crisis, you should store 2 weeks of non-perishable food. Ensure that formulas for infants or persons with special nutritional needs be part of your planning. Store 2 weeks of water, 1 gallon of water per person per day in clean plastic containers. Avoid using containers that will decompose or break, such as milk cartons or glass bottles. Ask your employer how business will continue during a pandemic. Plan for the possibility that usual services may be disrupted. These could include services provided by hospitals and other healthcare facilities.
Chirp. C. Cover your cough and sneeze. H. Have healthy hands. Wash hands often and carefully. I. Isolate yourself. Stay home from work or school if you are ill. R. Reduce germs in your place or workplace. P. Prepare yourself and your family. Get vaccinated. Plan. Have a kit. Chirp. Preparing for the flu season.